We'll now start with the last topic of the econometrics course, which is specification analysis. And in this reading, we have two readings here: Gujarati 7.1, chapter 7, section 7.1, and Doherty chapter 6, section 6.1. Okay. So what do we mean by model specification first? So to build a model, we must specify a relationship between a dependent and the explanatory variable. So something which we have already done so many times now. Okay, so yi is equal to b1 plus b2 xi plus, or let's call it x2. Let's call this x2, and let's add one more variable here, b3 x3 plus the disturbance term. Okay, so we must specify such a relationship, and we must also choose the explanatory variables required for our model. So in this model, I have chosen x2 and x3. But it is possible that there can be even 4, there can be even 3, there can be even 5 variables in the model. So the question is, how do we know whether the model is correctly specified or not? So what do you mean by specification in this case? When we say specification, a correct specification, it means that we are very much clear about the kind of variables we are including in the model. So the kind of variables. Then we also know the functional form that we'll be employing, linear or non-linear form. So broadly, these are two key ingredients in the you can say model specification part of econometrics. Okay, so now we must also choose the explanatory variables for our model, and then our choice of explanatory variable should ideally depend on some kind of underlying theory. So now most of the econometric research that takes place, they try to just validate a particular theory. So for example, if today I'm aware of, say, law of demand, and it says that price and quantity are inversely related, are inversely related. Now I'm aware of this theory, this idea. Okay, and if I look at a data, then and I regress, let's say, price on quantity. So let me call this alpha 1 plus alpha 2 qi, and let me assume that this is the correct specification. So in such a case, I must see that my alpha 2 is negative. Okay, so if I observe my alpha 2 to be negative, it's something I can always say that, okay, this idea is coming from a particular economic theory. Okay, the properties of the OLS estimators highly depend on correct specification of the model. So if you remember, one of the assumptions in the OLS model is that our model is correctly specified. So largely all those properties, unbiasedness, efficiency, they sort of they come from this correct specification of the model only.